corpse. Kill Mr. Elias.
Hello, YouTube or Twitch. Bloodhunter here, bringing you another nerdy video. Now, today we have something rather interesting to talk about, and I'm afraid this video will not be too extensive, due to the fact that I had to get ready to do something real soon. So we'll be talking about a class designed by Matthew Mercer himself, the DM of Critical Role, and the class I'll be talking about is Bloodhunter. Now I'm not going to cover all. He has made several classes, but I'm going to only talk about the Bloodhunter folks. I won't be getting into the other classes because again, I want to move on to other parts of the player's handbook. So, but I cannot help but talk about one of my favorite classes. Now, here's what it has to say about the. Now, there is quite a bit of lore on the Bloodhunter. There's quite a bit to be also said on the quick build. So let's just dive right in. Bloodhunter, in a landscape tormented by all manner of beasts, devils, and abominations, from beyond the veil most live in fear of the dark, of superstition, and of the unknown. Some grow hardened by this experience, instead choosing to stand up and fight against the tide of shadow. These folk are called heroes. Some, however, are so fanatical and bent on destroying the atemia that plagues the countryside that they embrace dark, forbidden knowledge. They sacrifice some of their own vital force in dubious, forgotten blood rituals to better understand their enemies. Their methods are sometimes blur the line between themselves and the evils they hunt, calling their own humanity into question. These folk are called Bloodhunters. Next bit is titled, Become the Enemy to Understand the Enemy. These warriors have chosen to merge the martial pursuit of deadly weapon play with elements of vicious blood magic to create impressively effective combat techniques. They surrender their own vitality to form a bond with their weapon, allowing them to harness the elements in a whirlwind of dangerous strikes. Their deep knowledge and unnatural connection with wicked creatures allows them an advantage in tracking, hunting, and destroying even the most resilient, abhorrent fiends. By mastering control over their own lifeblood and the lifeblood of others, they gain an insight into their foes and the ability to manipulate them from the inside. Some brew crude, poisonous chemical tonics from the harvested organs of felled monsters, mutating their blood and bodies to be even further in tune with their quarry, becoming something other than human themselves. Others go further, reaching out and making a pact with lesser dark entities in hopes of using their grim gifts against greater evils. Many Bloodhunters push too far for their goals, falling to their own hubris and becoming the monsters they've chosen to hunt. This is the greatest fear of a Bloodhunter and of the societies at large that shun them. Almost as feared as their prey, the nature of their abilities and training has bred many rumours across the lands, some of which aren't too far from the truth. Common folk consider them cursed, often turning them away at the door. Nobles see them as occasionally convenient, but generally reviled nuisance. Mages find them useful allies if kept at arm's length, while pious clerics and paladins keep their distance with a watchful eye. To be a Bloodhunter is to accept life of solitude until proven trustworthy and dependable. So there you go, folks. Now, Matt Mercer designed this class around the time that the last Witch Hunter movie was coming out, starring Vin Diesel. Now, in the debut of this class, however, Vin Diesel actually played it, and at the time it was still referred to as Witch Hunter. Now, Matt Mercer has made several changes since then, and he's also changed the name from Witch Hunter to Bloodhunter. Now, he has said that some of his inspiration for the Bloodhunter came from that of the Witchers from the Witcher series. Now, and I like how so far he's written the Bloodhunters to be suitable for any type of setting, and not just that of Critical Role Taldore. Mind you, though, technically Taldore and the normal D&D games apparently take place in the same universe, I believe. I'm not sure if they're on the same plane, but it's weird. But anyway, Bloodhunters are a fascinating class. Now, there is one extra supplement to this called the Order of the Lichen, which we'll get into when I talk about their orders. But for now, we're going to talk about vanilla Bloodhunters. Now, when you're creating a Bloodhunter, you need to keep in mind how your character relates to society and why they have taken the life of monster hunting. Do they wish to protect society and as such are paid the ultimate price? Do they have a family they wish to protect at all costs? Did they make a mistake that cost them greatly and they wish to make amends for their folly? Or are they bent on vengeance for some past wound or loss that drove them to choose this dark warrior's path? While a blood hunter begins their journey alone, they also acknowledge the strength in numbers and the benefits of trusted companions. Many blood hunters keep allies to both ensure that they succeed at their hunt and to keep a watchful eye to prevent them from losing touch with their humanity. A blood hunter without conviction is lost, and often an honest friend is enough to keep them from straying. Now, again, as I said, I love how he's keeping them, like he's setting them so that you don't have to rely on the Taldore guide. Now, in the Taldore guide, blood hunters are part of a much bigger order called the Cardinal Orders. No, it's not the Cardinal. That's it. That word means something different. Let me see here. No. Hold on. What was the name of the order? I had to go into my supplements folder. Here we go. Critical Role, a Taldore campaign guide. Let's see here. Wardens of Singorn. The Claret Orders. Here we go. Now, the Blood Hunters are connected to the Claret Orders, and they work for the Blood Clerics of that order. Now, the order originated in Vasselheim, despite being in this book as well. But yet they have no allegiance to any government. They're only loyal to the head of the Clara Order, both Hunter, Jorik. In the case of this book, in the timeline of this book, they're loyal to Hunter Jorik Lamesh. He is the right hand to Teresa Dulmar, who is the head cleric of the order, and he is a capable member of the Profane Soul. His hatred for Profanes and their making of pawns of good people is only matched by his skill with a blade. Now again, there's orders within the Blood Hunters. So the Blood Hunters are not one giant collective. They are split between these orders. Now, it's an amazing class, but anyway, let's go on to the quick build. You can make a Blood Hunter quickly by following these suggestions. First, make Strength or Dexterity your highest ability score, depending on whether you focus on melee weapons or ranged weapons and finesse weapons. Make Wisdom your next highest if you plan to focus on the potency of blood curses and mystical power. Choose a higher Constitution next if you wish to use your Crimson Right on multiple weapons or want to have extra hit points to burn on amplifying blood curses. Then select the Haunted one or Acolyte background. Now, the Haunted background, I believe that is something from the Taldore guide. Let's see here. Scrolling. Here we go. Allies and ramifications, new feats. Backgrounds. I do not where's the Haunted background? Either way, there's a background that you could go with this that he recommends. Now let's get into the features. Now, as before said, there's blood curses and Crimson Right. Now, your Crimson Right and blood curses are used by all blood hunters, regardless of the order that you are with. The Crimson Right damage goes up as you level up. Now, folks, there's one thing you need to be very wary of, and I was not aware of this when I recommended it to a certain player. But the Crimson Right damage die starts off at D4 and it can reach a D10. When you activate your Crimson Right damage, you lower your maximum health and you take damage based on your character level. Not class level, character level. So a level 1 Blood Hunter will take 1 damage when he activates his Crimson Right. Now that's 1 damage per weapon you're adding your Crimson Right to. You can add it to multiple weapons, as previously said. Now, when you reach level 20, you will take 20 damage. Now, 20, you always get 6. If you take 6 plus con, like 6 times, let's see, if you take Constitution as not as your plus 0, we'll say. So let's see, that's 6 times 19. That is at least 114 health, and you get 10. So you'll have, so without your Constitution modifier at all, you would have about 124 health. So technically, you'll get to about 100 health. You'll get to about 100 health for 1 Crimson Right damage. But that also includes for multiclassing, I should warn you. So a level 5 or level 3 Bloodhunter, who then goes to level 17 levels in Wizard, would still have to take 20 damage to activate his Crimson Right for only a D4. So it's one of those moments where I don't agree with it, but at the same time, Bloodhunters get so much early level that I can understand why this is set up. Okay, but anyway, it's a D4 until you reach level 6, which will then give you a D6. It then becomes a D8 at level 11, and then when you reach level 16, it becomes a D10. Now we'll talk about what type of damage the Crimson Right does later. Now, your blood curses known, however. You start off with no blood curses known until you reach level 2. That's when you get access to them. Now, you'll have 1 blood curse until you reach level 5. And then that's when you get a second blood curse. And then when you reach level 9, you get a third blood curse. At level 13, you get a fourth. Level 17, you get a fifth. And finally, at level 20, you get your final and 6th blood curse. Now, and let's get on with now with the rest of your class features. Your hit die is a D10 per Bloodhunter level. Your hit points at first level is 10 plus your Constitution modifier, and then your hit points at higher level is 1d10 plus your Constitution modifier, or a 6 plus your Constitution modifier per level above 1. Hold on, folks, I need to do something. Sorry about that, folks. As I said, we're now just starting the features now, but again, I won't be talking about the archetypes until another video. Your proficiencies is light, medium, and shields. Their bloodhunters are generally considered to be on the road constantly, so they generally only wear the clothes on their back is what they own. You know. Your proficiency in weapons is both simple and martial. You have alchemist supplies for tools. Yeah, I guess that's to try and help make with potions. You know, health potions. You know, your saving throws is strength and wisdom. Your skills, you choose 2 from athletics, acrobatics, arcana, insight, investigation, or survival. See, this is where it gets a bit tricky because if you're using the standard array, yeah, it becomes very dodgy in terms of what you want for what part of your character. Because let's see here, beyond first level. Where is it? We're looking for your attributes. Here we go, ability skill modifiers. And your starting ability score is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. What is going to be your 8? What is going to be your 8 and 10? That is extremely crucial, folks. As a Bloodhunter, your Constitution strength, you need wisdom, strength, con. But at the same time, though, you have skills such as investigation that uses intelligence. And you have arcana as well that uses intelligence. So the problem with the Bloodhound at the moment is you need they have your they give you skills that relate to other positions, but then you have to worry about then either you can't have your strength be too low because that's part of your that's one of your saving throws. So what they should have done, in my opinion, for the saving throws was strength or dexterity and wisdom. Yeah, that way you can either have strength or dexterity. But the way it's set up, you need to have high strength in order to get make use of your strength proficiency. You need to have high wisdom to make both use of its wisdom and then also your tracking abilities, which is survival. And then if you want to go to dex build, you'll need high dex to get use out of your damage and range attacks. And then for for arcana and investigation, you need to have high intelligence. But then you also need to high constitution for the sake of having lots of health. So the only low stat you can possibly go is charisma, but then what gets what gets 10? It's really frustrating. So the way I would do it is, if I was using the player's handbook instead of my advanced array, would be dexterity gets to 15. 14 goes to wisdom. 13 goes to constitution. 12, I suppose I would give to strength because of thing, and then intelligence gets 10, and charisma gets the 8. That's how I would see it at the moment, folks. But it just gets really the way Matt had the skills, and then the saving throws, and then it being a strength, a finesse, or a strength build type of fighter. It's all up in the air. But okay, your starting equipment is a martial weapon or 2 simple weapons if you want to go strength. You can have a light crossbow bolt with 20 bolts, or you can have a hand crossbow with 20 bolts. With my character, I would actually go with the hand crossbow. You can either start off with light leather armor, which is studded leather armor, or you can go the medium armor approach with scale mail armor. And then you get an explorer's pack. Oh, and then he tells you alternatively the starting wealth is 4d4 times 10 gold pieces when purchasing starting items for your equipment. So let's see. I recently just got a new dice cup to help me with my rolling dice. So let's quickly. Oh, there you go. Open it. Let's put the coins into the bag. And let's quickly take out some d4s. What was it, 4d4? Yes, 1. Let's grab my blue one. I also got a new dice set, folks, as well. And again, brilliant part was, this order just arrived today. I bloody love it. The dice for it looks so nice. It's a dark gold on a sort of greyish black dice. It's really nice. I should take a picture of it at some point. Okay, so let's say if you're starting off as a Bloodhunter and you want to go your DM is using starting wealth instead of starting gold. Sorry, starting wealth instead of starting equipment. So let's see here. I just rolled 4, 6, 8 times 10, 80 gold. That's fairly low because I rolled 2 1s and a 2 and a 4. So that was actually fairly low roll. But okay, let's quickly put these dice back into the cup and then put the cups back into the bag for ease of travel, folks. I now have, I think, about 5 sets of the RPG dice. I have my blue, white, my black and white, and then my white and black. Yeah, 5. Now, ideally, I would want to get at least, as a player, I would want to get at least 12, and then maybe 15 as a DM. But anyway, that's your starting stuff. Now, first level, your first features. Now, again, remember I said you get loads of stuff very quickly. For example, within the first 2 levels, you get 4 features. Okay. Um, First feature is Hunter's Bane. Begin at first level. You have survived imbibing of the Hunter's Bane, a poisonous chemical concoction that ulcers your life's blood forever, binding you to the darkness and honing your senses against it. You have advantage on wisdom have wisdom survival checks to track fae, fiends, and undead, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information about them. If you are actively tracking one of these creatures types, you cannot be surprised by any creature of that type. You can only be tracking one type of creature at a time. Upon reaching level 11, you can flare the internal toxic scars from the ritual, using the pain to give clarity or promote anger. You can choose to suffer damage equal to your Crimson Right damage die to gain advantage on a Wisdom Insight check or Charisma Intimidation check. Now, folks, I'd like to point out that you're focusing on one of the creatures only works for not being surprised by them. So, the situation of being able to track all of them, you still have advantage on regardless of that. It's just that when you want to, if you focus on one of the types, you can no longer be surprised by that type. Next, we have your Crimson Right. At first level, you can learn to invoke the right of blood magic within your weapon at the cost of your own vitality. Choose to learn one right from the primal rights list below. You cannot change your choice. As a bonus action, you imbue a single weapon with the elemental damage of a known right until your next short or long rest. While active, attacks from this weapon deal an additional 1d4 right damage of the chosen elemental type. Right damage is considered a magical, and the right damage die changes as you gain Bloodhunter levels, as shown in the Crimson Right damage die column of the Bloodhunter table. Should your weapon leave your grip, the right fades immediately, and the active right on the weapon thrown fades directly after the attack is complete. So basically, if you willingly throw it, it stays active until you hit. Or if someone makes you drop your weapon, it automatically goes away. When a Crimson Right is activated, you suffer damage equal to your character level, and you reduce your maximum hit points by the amount equal to your character level. These lost maximum hit points return once your right fades and cannot be restored otherwise. When a right fades on it, no hit points are regained as part of the restore no maximum hit points. Crimson Right can be used on multiple weapons, causing additional hit point loss. Most weapons can only be subject to a single right at any given time. Each end of a pole arm or quarterstaff is treated as a separate weapon for the purposes of this feature. A right can be allowed to fade at any time on your turn, no action required. You gain access to additional primal right at level 6 and at level 11, and you may learn an esoteric right at level 14. Now, the primal rights are... Now, eventually you will get all... It seems you will get all primal rights, and then you get one esoteric. So, it's just that... in terms of your primal rights, the chance of which one you'll get is completely dependent on the... You'll get all of them eventually, but you can choose which one order you get them in. You get Right of Flame, which is fire damage, Right of the Frozen, which is cold damage, Right of the Storm, which is lightning damage. Now, remember, you get one esoteric, and that is Right of the Roar, which is thunder damage, Right of the Oracle, which is psychic damage, and Right of the Dead, which is necrotic damage. At level 2, you get Fighting Style. Your fighting styles are very limited as opposed to the fighter class or some others that get this fighting style. You have archery, dueling, great weapon fighting, and 2-weapon fighting. Archery is a +2 to your attack rolls with ranged weapons. Dueling is a +2 to damage rolls with a weapon if you have only one weapon in your hand, and it has to be a melee weapon. Great weapon fighting is you get to reroll 1s and 2s when of a non-right damage die for an attack you make with a weapon that you're wielding that has with 2 hands. You can reroll the die and must use the new roll. The weapon must have the 2-handed or versatile property for you to gain this benefit. 2-weapon fighting is when you have one weapon in each hand. Now, I believe they have to be melee. No, they are not. When you engage 2-weapon fighting, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. Next is Blood Maledict. This is what gives you your curses. At second level, you gain the knowledge to further channel and sacrifice part of your vital essence to curse and manipulate your enemies. You gain one blood curse of your choice, detailed in the blood curses section below. You learn one additional blood curse at level 5, 9, 13, 16, and 20. Actually, Matt Mercer's at the really nicely labeling out some of these table things. With wizards, they don't tell you about the spell slots when you gain them, but I like how he did it for the Blood Maledict. When you use your Blood Maledict, you choose which curse to invoke. While invoking a blood curse, but before it affects the target, you may choose to amplify the curse by suffering damage equal to the roll of your Crimson Right damage die. An amplified curse gains an additional effect noted in the curse's description. Creatures that do not have blood in their bodies are immune to the blood curses. DM's discretion. You can use this feature once. You regain expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. Begin at level 6, and you can use your Blood Maledict twice between rests at level 11, and you can use it 3 times between rests at level 17. Around level 11, that's it, yeah. Yeah, and then at level 17, you can use it 4 times between rests. Now, I believe it recharges on a short rest, did it say? Once you finish a short or long rest, yeah, so yeah, it's short rests. So that's a lot of uses between short rests. Now here's the blood curses, folks. They're in alphabetical order. Blood Curse of the Binding. As a bonus action, you can attempt to bind an enemy no more than one size larger than you within 30 feet. The target must make a strength save. DC is 8 plus your proficiency plus your wisdom, or have their speed reduced to 0. If you amplify it, the curse ongoing can affect a creature regardless of their size category. At the end of each of its turns, the target makes a strength saving throw, and a success the curse ends, and you end the curse whenever you like. Okay, pretty cool. Blood Curse of Eyeless. When an enemy who is not immune to blindness within 60 feet of you makes a weapon attack, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. If you amplify it, following the triggering attack, the affected enemy has disadvantage on the next attack roll they make. Blood Curse of the Fallen Puppet. The moment a creature falls unconscious or dies within 30 feet of you, you can use your reaction to give that creature a final act of aggression. That creature immediately makes a single weapon attack against a target of your choice that is within its attack range. After the attack, the creature returns to being an unconscious or dead. If you amplify it, you grant a bonus to the attack roll and damage roll of the cursed target equal to your wisdom modifier minimum 1. Blood Curse of Defending Right. When an enemy casts a spell that requires a dexterity saving throw, you can use your reaction to deflect the spell with your Crimson Right. You gain a bonus to the initial saving throw against the spell equal to your wisdom modifier minimum of 1. This curse is invoked before the saving throw is rolled. If you amplify it, you grant all allies within 5 feet of you this bonus to their saving throws against the triggering spell as well. I believe this is my favourite one, Blood Curse of the Marked. As a bonus action, you can mark an enemy within 60 feet of you. Until the end of your turn, all Crimson Right damage you deal to the target is doubled. If you choose to amplify it, you cause the marked target to also lose resistance to your right damage until the beginning of your next turn. That is very useful. Now, mind you, though, it says they lose resistance, so immunity does not count. Blood Curse of Mutual Suffering. As a bonus action, you can link to a creature within 30 feet of you for up to 1 minute, forcing them to share in pain they inflict upon you. The next time the cursed creature damages you with a weapon attack, this curse deals necrotic damage to the cursed creature equal to half the damage you suffered. This curse then ends. If you amplify it, the creature deals damage equal to the damage you suffered and it ignores necrotic resistance. Curse of Purgation. As a bonus action, you can manipulate the vitality of a creature within 60 feet of you to expunge a corruption in their blood. The target creature can immediately make a saving throw against being poisoned condition inflicting it. Amplified. Your target can instead immediately make a saving throw against one other condition afflicting it. This condition can be blinded, deafened, or paralyzed. So basically, it's a support spell to help your allies, get rid of conditions. Last one, Curse of Spell Sunder. When an enemy casts a spell within 60 feet of you requires a spell attack roll that targets you, you can use your reaction to rend the spell from the air, imposing disadvantage on the spell attack roll. If you amplify it, you make a wisdom check. DC is 10 plus the spell's level. On a success, the creature spell misses you automatically. That is really good, folks. Now we're going to ignore the Bloodhunter orders, so we're just going to move on. You get your ASI at 4th, 8th, 12th, and 16th, and lastly at 19th level. You get extra attack at level 5, so you can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action feature. Now, technically, with 2-weapon fighting, you get 3 attacks, because you can use your bonus action to attack with your offhand weapon. Grim Psychometry. When you reach level 9, you can take 10 minutes to meditate on an object to discern vague details regarding any lingering evil or wicked past surrounding it. Make a wisdom ability check. Based on the result, the DM may reveal obscure information about the dark events that may have previously surrounded the object, or hints towards a sinister purpose. This feature has no effect on objects untouched by evil, and an object can only be targeted by this feature once. The future attempts reveal no further details. At level 10, you have Dark Velocity. And as I said, remember, you get lots of features, even the vanilla Bloodhunter, so that's why Matthew Mercer imposed the whole character thing, to prevent people from... People tend to abuse multi-classing, where they will take only like 1 or 5 levels into a class and to just gain like key features. And then the rest, then they ignore it. Like, they're basically power gamers, basically, who are literally only after... I know of some power gamers who would only take 1 level in fighter because, oh, I want that heavy armor and weapon proficiencies for my non-armored and non-weapon using character. You know, like a wizard. A person, I've often seen cases of people taking 1 level in fighter and the rest in wizard, because they wanted their wizard to be in heavy armor. So, yeah, that Matt Mercer saw, like, he basically designed this class with a deterrent for that. So you have to probably go majority Bloodhunter instead of minority Bloodhunter. So you can multi-class, it's just that it's recommended that you be more of a Bloodhunter than the other classes. But anyway, Dark Velocity. You beckon the surrounding shadows to grant you unnatural swiftness on the battlefield. You gain Dark Vision out to 30 feet, or if you have Dark Vision, you extend it to an additional 30 feet. While you're in dim light or darkness, your speed increases by 10 feet, and attacks of opportunity made against you have disadvantage. Really cool. Allows you to move around the battlefield a lot more. Hardened Soul. When you reach level 14, you can no longer become frightened and have advantage on saving throws against magical charm effects. Your final vanilla Bloodhunter feature is Sanguine Mastery. Upon becoming level 20, your ability to harness your pain and the pain of your foes is perfected. When you are below 1/4 of your current maximum hit points and consciousness, all of your Crimson Right damage dice are maximized. In addition, when you critically hit with a weapon that bears your Crimson Right, and you have no use of your Blood Maledict feature left, you regain 1 use. So basically, that is a real, like, that's really powerful at level 20. Because, remember how I rolled 8 damage on my Crimson Right die? So that was the money. Let's say by level 20 you have a D10 Crimson Right damage. That means you automatically deal 10 damage. If you have a blood curse of the marked on them, that becomes 20. And then, if that was your final use of your blood curse, you then get all that back. So you can curse them again on your next turn and then hit them again. Now, folks, that is not counting any bonuses from a magical +3 weapon, which you probably would have. So, again, you would have a minimum 4 damage for a short sword to a maximum of 9. So that automatically that potentially becomes 24. 24 damage. That's if you roll the lowest on your weapon damage die, and then to a maximum of 29 if you're maximum. And again, that's only with a short sword +3. Where we are not counting if you have what's it called. That's without counting your dexterity modifier, folks. So again, and without counting if you have a flame-tongued short sword that deals an extra d6 fire damage. So yeah, folks, that is really good ability. And again, as I said, if you just used your last of your blood curses to get that, maximized, sorry, that double Crimson Right damage die, then boom, you get it back. And then on your next turn, you get to do the exact same thing again. So, yeah, Sanguine Mastery is really useful. Now, next, folks, we're going to be talking about the orders of the Bloodhunters. Now, we're actually going to cover multiclass, which is covered at the end of this document, but we're going to cover it now. Should you risk to multiclass into Bloodhunter, the prerequisites, and proficiencies gained are listed below. In order to multiclass into a Bloodhunter, you need to have a Strength or Dexterity score of 13 and Wisdom 13. So you need to have both Dex and Wisdom at 13 in order to go in Dex. You need to have Wisdom and either Strength or Dexterity with the Wisdom to multiclass into this. Now, when you do multiclass this, you gain the following proficiencies: Light and Medium Armor, Shield, Simple and Martial Weapons, and Alchemical Supplies. Now, there is a special added note. Now, the reason why I know Matt Mercer designed his Bloodhunter to be a deterrent for multiclassing is because he actually answered. I messaged him and he replied with that explanation. He was like, I want to deter people from abusing the multiclass and with Bloodhunter. So, now, there is a special, because the Bloodhunter has a special archetype that's like a weaker version of a Warlock. He has special rules for if you do multiclass it with a Warlock. If multiclass an Order of the Profane Soul with a Warlock, levels add a third of your Bloodhunter levels rounded down to your Warlock level, and consult the Warlock progression table for total spell slots, cantrips known, and spell slot level. To decide your spellcasting ability for your Warlock spells, choose that of the class with the highest levels. Choose if equal. So basically, you take if you're multiclassing Bloodhunter, Profane Soul, and Warlock, you add a third of your Bloodhunter levels rounded down to your Warlock level, and then you look at the Warlock level progression. So, again, even then, he's hinting like, yeah, you should be primarily a Bloodhunter, and then you consult then. So let's see. So yeah, it's a third rounded down, and then add it to your Warlock level, and then you then look at the Warlock table. So if you're a Bloodhunter 3, Warlock 1, that means you'll be a Warlock 2, I think. Let's see here. Yeah, you add it to your Warlock, and you consult the table. Okay. So let's see. Let's quickly jump back to Warlock. So yeah, that means a Bloodhunter Profane Soul 3 and a Warlock 1 gets access to. Now again, this is only for your cantrips, spells known, and whatnot. So a Warlock 1. So that means you'll have one extra spell known, and you'll have one extra spell slot for your for your cast. Because you're technically two classes of Warlock. So Matt Mercer decided to have it be so that you don't have two separate spell slots and then two separate spell lists. He decided, okay, instead we're gonna go with you divide this one by 3 and add it to this one, and then that's how many spells, cantrips, and whatever you get. So that's pretty interesting. So like again, Bloodhunter 16. That's 5. Warlock 4. So that equals 7. No, 9. Sorry. Yeah, Warlock 5. Bloodhunter. Sorry, Warlock 4. Bloodhunter. 5 plus 4. Yeah, that's 9. So that means you instead of your Warlock, that means you would get 3 cantrips, 10 spells. Wait, no, yeah, 10 spells, and 2 spell slots. Now again, they all recharge on a short rest, by the way, so don't have to worry about that. So, Again, it's really cool. Again, as I said, it prioritizes Bloodhunter over Warlock, which again is what Matt Mercer is trying to aim for. He wants you to go primarily Bloodhunter, and then if you do multi-class, uh, so now mind you, the next time if I ever play a Bloodhunter, I'm actually planning on going pure Bloodhunter. Alright, folks, this is it. Now I will go into more detail on the orders of the Bloodhunter when I have time. I'm afraid this is all the time I have for now. I will be back later today with some Ludo Sport videos. Hopefully, my phone is not at the peak battery level, sadly. But again, I will try my best. I did not record last week because there was just so few members. But I will record definitely this week. So this is Wolf and Ninja signing out. May the force be with you. And remember, roll for initiative.